Hi, this is Luke Olson from Ghost Galaxy, and you're listening to Archon's Corner.
All right, what's going on, everybody? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE, joined by the normal cast of misfits this week. We got Big Z.
Hey.
We got Jarazcore.
How's it going, guys?
He's not sick core anymore, are you?
Nah, I'm pretty good.
You kicked the Rona?
I still hear something in there. That's
yeah,
normal.
I mean, my voice is not 100%, but I feel good, testing negative, so as good as
as you can get,
can be with the lingering whatever.
With that itis. We got our resident PhD, Dr. Sheep.
Yep, I'm here.
Yep.
I almost tried to do his what for him.
Yep. And we got
I'm here.
Our number 2 place finisher in Minnesota, Ewok Jr.
Hello, Keyforge community. Oh, it is so good to be here with my family. So it was a good week.
It turns out that 200 didn't banish Ewok from the top 8. They actually put him in it.
It was actually the first time that I won 3 games in a row. So thank you, Sheep. And then I went 4-0.
Welcome.
And it was a very good time. Cards, honestly, I heard this podcast said draw better. Cards did fall very, very well for me. So,
yeah. Well, it's good when most of them are all heaters. It's word on the street. I've heard it before.
Brobnar.
Brob can. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about the Minnesota Vault Tour. Most of you went. 3 out of the 5 went. Ewok, Z, and Dr. Sheep all went. How did it go, boys?
I did poorly.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you.
I think Sheep went 2-2. Along with JR, I also went undefeated on day 1 and immediately lost in top 8. I lost on turn 4 to double Martian Generosity Key Abduction in Archon.
It was good.
I played through all 4 of my glorious turns in my head quite a bit. There's absolutely zero I could have done or did differently in that game.
I believe that was on stream too, if I'm not mistaken.
It was not on stream. It would have been real quick. It would have been a whole 10 minutes maybe.
I was busy, so I was in and out of the stream. So
we probably shuffled our decks longer than the game was. But yeah, there's zero agency in that game for sure.
Right.
At least on my end. Yeah. So go double Martian Generosity Key Abduction. It's good.
JR, why don't you give me some recaps from your recaps from Minnesota?
So the first bit was we came in hot and heavy on Friday. Sheep was driving the Sheepmobile, and we came in just in time to be able to play sealed. So we almost didn't get there, but Sheep, you did some good driving. Traffic held out enough, and we played some standard sealed. That was I played my deck. I grabbed the deck and I played it. There was no time for any of this alliance or looking at anything. And to be honest, it really would not have mattered with the 3 decks that I had. So I think that was still a great call. Had a lot of fun. Not super successful, but it was a good time to be able to play sealed. Ended up going ahead and going 0-2, and then had a bye, and then I won 2. So some nice fun players. Apparently this thing in Keyforge of Amber Control, it's something you need. So doesn't matter if all 3 decks only have a total of 3 cards. Also, ironically, if you have, out of the 3 decks, if you share houses, like one house is in all 3 of them, and that happens twice, you're kind of limited on your options. But I love playing sealed. It was fun to be able to play everyone. So, what do you guys think about sealed on Friday?
I had an interesting experience. We got our 3 decks, right? So we called ahead, said, we'll just play 1 deck because we knew we were getting there really late. So we show up we open our 1 decks. I'm looking at the room. I got a Prospector deck, I got a Berserker deck, and I have a Fish deck. The Prospector has double Blacksmith, so I immediately throw it in the trash. Well, not in the trash, but in my backpack. The Fish deck didn't have enough befuddles, so I was onto the Berserker deck. Looked really good, actually. I sleeved it up. I go to my first table. I'm pile shuffling it. There's only 35 cards in the deck.
Oh,
Oh no.
And it was, it's like a mid 80s rated deck, and it is pretty good. I've won quite a few games with it. But
But then you realized you were disqualified.
yeah, so then they did replace my deck. They gave me another deck. It was some researcher deck that was totally mediocre, and did mediocre things.
Are they going to replace the card?
Oh, well, they just let me keep the deck so I can have it printed sometime in the future.
Oh, get a copy. I wonder when that whole thing's gonna kind of go down. We heard about it, and then kind of no more news on printing decks and getting copies and all this stuff. So,
I feel like it's going to be after this season.
you think so?
Maybe they forgot.
Maybe
They might have.
they forgot.
I think they have a few things on their mind right now. So.
Yeah,
I mean, they
that's
are
not
busy.
the priority.
They're busy like pumping out the good news today.
Yeah.
There
So
you go.
who is our Unchained champion this time around?
Ooh, Okay. so that was the other highlight. Is I was your Unchained champion.
Oh,
Sweet
nice.
surprise. So we kept it in the AC family, and
We have
let me-
all of the AC champion, or
I was gonna
all
say,
of
let
the
me-
on-chain championships.
Let me get this
Nice.
straight. So Big Z won the Unchained championship at KFC.
With 25 wins, by the way.
Wow.
Dr. Sheep won at Philly. Who won at Philly?
No,
I won at Philly
There was
with
none.
there was no Unchained.
Oh,
event
that's
in-
right. That's
yeah,
right. The
not
pallet
Philly.
didn't show up.
yeah.
The railroad won.
The railroad. It was on
Barons.
It was on Pony Express. So then at Gen Con, Sheep won.
Yep. I won 7 or 9 games.
I think you had 8. I had 7. You're
Wow,
one.
what
Okay.
a weird. So it went from 25 to 7. Okay, and Ewok, how many did you win to become the Unchained champion?
2.
2.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
wait. Okay. What, did everybody just concede, or it didn't really fire?
There was,
Well, there was only 2 of them.
both sealed pods firing. That's
Okay.
what everybody's playing. Nobody,
Ah,
A lot of
really,
sealed pods
you know,
fired.
Yeah.
was that excited for
Interesting.
Unchained.
it's
So
weird.
they did a much better job at, they had the Keyforge Adventures, kind of the fast track. You had the sealed pods that were firing. They fired Shredder.
What?
So
It's almost like it's a legit format or something.
Like officially?
Yeah, big thank you to Bridger, who provided most of the Shredder decks for this event.
There was
It was
at least
great.
one low deck shredded. I saw it in the picture.
There were 2 WoW decks shredded.
Nice.
Both decks I opened at the event and said, I want these decks.
and I
we,
know
we
that
need a Vault Master Shredder.
I am down. I already have my deck picked out.
I know that there was a lot of hate for the Shredder post, and a lot of people don't understand. And for anyone who wants to be able to pick up WoW decks that are Shredder worthy, again, please reach out. I know a number of individuals who would love to ship them away because they mean
Just
nothing.
Save them
I mean,
from the
they're,
Shredder bin. Buy them before we can shred them.
but that's the honest truth is when you can't sell them, they're pointless. And
I understand the whole plight of like, I don't even have my regular decks. Like, if you would enjoy buying all of my junk decks from me that are low, I will more than be happy to sell them to you at a reasonable cost. Until that point, Shredder God's got to shred. That's all I know.
So with all of those events, honestly, I opened up and I played in games. I want to say both of them ended up playing Saturday morning while we waited. And then after I finished round 1, I ended up facing Corey Hater. So that's our AC Hater's dad in round 1. And he jumped out to an earlier lead, got first key, but then the game was pretty much over. We had lots of time. So we were able to play our game, and then we were able to play an Unchained game. And those were the 2 games. Now, there was someone else who had 2 games, but I won both of mine. And so that was the main difference. Honestly, I thought I was nowhere even close to it, and I was completely shocked when they announced that I was the winner there. But that is
So
that is
you're
what it is.
telling me, I've learned 2 things from what you've just told me. Number 1, it's almost like Sealed is like this super viable tournament format.
Yeah, it's almost like people really
It's
like
almost like
it and
people
enjoy it,
wanna-
and people play it.
Want to play Sealed, like in a high stakes tournament format. Number 2,
I don't know if the
I wouldn't
high
even-
stakes
yeah.
is important.
people
I think
want to
people
play
just wanna play Sealed.
Sealed in a high level format.
I wouldn't call what they're doing a high level. All we can state is that people
like playing Sealed.
That is
And
what
they
we can.
and they will
Yes.
come out for Sealed.
Yes, I agree with that statement.
Okay. There you go. That's number 1. Number 2, Unchained isn't going so hot. Is it not Unchained enough? I've always felt that.
Well, So the thing about Unchained, in my opinion, is that Unchained at Keyforge Celebration was brand new. It was something that was exciting. It was something that people look forward to, and frankly, the prizes were really good for it. That there were actual prizes in something substantial.
Hey,
Yeah,
what'd you get for being
KFC.
first, JR?
Actually, I thought that for being first, it was not bad. There was a mat. They had their Vault Tour mats, and then I got an Unchained deck. But
Was it the mat you could buy?
It
Or
was
like a different one.
It was the mat I could buy, yes.
Okay.
But I mean, if you look, we had a good friend who had gone 5-0 in the Sealed tournament on Friday, and they got a WoW deck too. So I know that is something right now that whether it's products or something else that's in the way, we just got to be able to. We got to get something more.
I do think they did a lot better job of advertising all of the things that you could do at the event. Josh stood up. He told you exactly what was where. Told you what events were going on when. To the point of like, you know, this is the day to do this. All that. It was very, very clear as far as what you could do. And there was plenty to do. I did hear a lot of grumbling, some much less pleasant than JR is presenting it here, about like what the prizes are for said events, especially like what you got for being the EXO person on Sealed, that kind of thing. So hopefully in the future we will see unique pricing once they get them. I understand that probably won't be till 2024 once they start like printing like GG starts printing their own custom pricing. But like for the time being, it would be cool to like instead of just a WoW deck, maybe you get a Vault Master's deck, like something that is limited in some function that is still the same cost to company, because it still costs them the same amount as anything else to any other deck to make a Vault Master deck. So that would be a cooler prize, and people I think would like. I went 2-1 in the Sealed event you're referencing, and I asked the staff like, what would happen if I won all the rest of my games? And they said the best I could hope for is a single Sealed deck, and I decided to drop to do other things. If that single Sealed deck was a Vault Master, I would have continued to play in the event. So I would have felt that you know that's something cool. I could walk away with an extra Vault Master deck that I could then go play in Shredder.
Yeah, I hear that, Z. In my opinion, you really got to be. Here's your Sealed. It's very low stakes. We're enjoying ourselves, and we don't want it super cutthroat. But there should be, if you have 2 5-0s, here's your box. You get 6, you get 6. I mean, frankly, here's a box each. I don't think that that's unreasonable. It's cost the company something, but the pricing has to be somewhat enticing for people to spend the amount of money that they're spending to come out. The Vault Tour is not a cheap experience, from entrance to hotel stay to driving time and gas to food. It's just, in my opinion, we need to make that more worthwhile for individuals.
And not everyone is prize oriented. I understand that.
No.
I'm not like 100% prize oriented myself, and I know Dan's not. But when it comes down to it, there is an area of our play group that is that way. So like X-Ray himself was saying, like, you know, that was a big downer for him, that the fact that there's like not more things to actively play for in these events outside of the main, because, you know, he's been kind of crushed there.
Yeah, I mean, because the big thing is, right, like, there are going to be people that go 0-2 and scrub out, right? Like, you're going to have that. You're going to have people who go 1-2, 2-2, and they're looking for other things to do, right? But
and that's where I'm saying I think they're doing good at. Like, there are things to do,
right?
But, like, for the people that need
you
more
also
than just the thing to do, they need a prize.
You want something to, I don't know, commemorate, celebrate, whatever you want to call it. You're going to said event, right? And that's where that prize wall, and I know everyone's, you're not going to see it, but that prize wall did come in. You could go, you could spend your Ember Shards, get a shirt, get a bag, get, you know, all sorts of different stuff. And that wasn't for everybody, and that was fine, you know, but there's got to be something. I mean, I'm looking at possibly either Dallas or Vegas. There are intense negotiations going on right now between me and my wife, to which I am fruitfully losing. At least Dallas. So, but I mean, you're looking at least $300 for a flight. You're probably looking at about $300-ish. I guess it depends on if you split the room with somebody, but $300-ish for a room. And then you're looking at, you know, attendance is $75. So there's another $100. So you're probably about $700, not including food and a way to and fro the airport. So it is an extraordinarily expensive thing to do, to go play Keyforge, to maybe not come away with anything.
What's interesting, Wookie, is you're talking about that. We did see another, you know, decent sized group of local community Keyforge players coming out. So the people who are around the Minnesota area, a number of them came out, and that's what you're going to get from these individual vaults. And so I'm curious what Dallas is going to bring. I'm curious what Seattle, even this weekend, will bring, because that's what we really need to tap into. Is you have your group that will travel, you have a next tier that will travel for, you know, 1 or 2 events, but they're not coming out for everyone. And then you have your local group. And we really need to tap into that base amount, or be willing to have people drive a little bit further. And I think if we can tell them what the prizes are ahead of time, and then make them a little bit more substantial in here's the decks, that does help entice some people to be able to come up. It doesn't need to be a lot. And I will say, I don't know if it was changed from that Friday to Sunday, but GG staff was very responsive from what I had seen, and making adjustments from Vault Tour to Vault Tour. And here I saw, like, maybe it was just a deck, but all of a sudden now it went to a deck and a mat. Not a lot, but on the short turnaround, that's awesome that they're willing. Hey, yeah, we got to do something. And I know for Unchained, it wasn't just here's for first place. They gave out from multiple places for some random drawings. They gave out multiple places for sealed. They gave out multiple places for Unchained. They gave out multiple places for their adventure. So that I give credit to GG staff. And again, Josh did awesome to announce it on the day of. So really well done.
You know, I also suspect that they're trying to figure out, hey, how do we actually run a profitable event? Now, in theory, it should have been a slam dunk at Roseville because they own the space. You've got the game center staff. But you got to imagine, well, we don't know, right? But hey, Philly probably originally would have been profitable, but then they didn't get their pallet and they had to fly a guy out with product at the last second. And then they couldn't sell as much stuff on site with the Vault Masters and whatnot that they were expecting. So certainly revenue was down and costs were up. Then Gen Con, I mean, just the craziness with Gen Con. I doubt they made money
Does
at
any
Gen
tournament
Con.
structure run a profit at Gen Con? I don't know.
No.
I
Probably
can't. I
not.
can't imagine. I mean, with what Gen
Maybe
Con's
what Arthur
asking,
does, the way Arthur does it, that's probably it though.
maybe. But it's like I just with I don't know what Gen Con is charging, but I have to imagine what they're charging, and
It's substantial.
right? And I just don't think. I think the hope of Gen Con is to honestly break even, because I don't think anybody makes money at Gen Con.
So the thing that I
Well,
see
booths and
is
stuff, but for tournaments, I think
Well, I'm saying
It's challenging.
tournaments. Like, if you're not there actively selling product, I don't know if you make it, like, the tournament wise, if you make money. I'm sure, I know there's plenty of booths that make money, but
So the thing about Gen Con is that you want to look at it as an investment for marketing. And we in Keyforge need to invest in the marketing. We have a very small niche group that's right now into Keyforge. How do we be able to get out to other gamers, to board gamers, to card gamers, to people who might be potential Keyforge gamers? How do we get out to stores, frankly, right now to let them know that this game is actually alive? I know that's an odd statement, but
Well-
when I have game owners saying, I didn't know that this is alive, we have to put it into marketing.
well, that's our
And
game
so
owner.
that's something.
And let's get into. We're gonna go into the new Gamefound announcement here in a minute, but look at some of the comments in there. Game owners don't want to touch this game. How do we win them? How do you win those game owners back? I mean, literally, there was multiple comments was saying my game store will not touch this game, and they see it as a risk. Like, the word risk
well, I
was used
think-
multiple times.
Yeah, I do think Gen Con is one of those avenues, right? Get people talking about it, right? Like that, get people playing it, get people being interested, right? Like, so I do think that's the right move, right? Even if it doesn't itself make money.
Are there a
Like you
lot
said,
of
it's
game
marketing.
store owners going to Gen Con?
No, it's not about Gen.
A
It's not
lot
about
of game
them.
store owners go to Gen Con.
Do they? Okay.
Well,
that was a
it's
legitimate
sure.
question.
But I guess I don't know, numerically or whatever, but I'm imagining there's some of that, but I'm imagining it's like, how many folks can you get to go back to the store and say, hey, I played this cool game at Gen Con. Like, can we play that here?
Because here's my deal, and I guess let's get right into it, because we have another Gamefound campaign. I don't think it's any
Heck
secret.
yeah.
We're gonna talk about it. There's another Gamefound campaign for Grim Reminders. Z is excited for another Gamefound campaign. Not 100. I think Z is more excited for another set than he is for another Gamefound
I'm
campaign.
always excited to spend my money on Keyforge.
That's right.
Let's go.
There you go.
That's
There you
right.
go.
However, there are many people who are very unexcited. And another Gamefound
I
campaign.
don't think there's people not excited spending money.
No, but that's a weird statement, but there are very many people who are not happy to see another Gamefound campaign because, I mean,
Because they're not in the United States.
well, I haven't
That's
seen it either, but
mostly
how
it.
does this help how does another, I mean, I think it was said that there will be a retailer pledge at this one.
There was.
Yeah,
So hopefully you're
retailer
able to get some
pledge
people on board with
doesn't-
that.
retailer pledge doesn't mean enough, right? It could be phoned in, or it could be amazing. Just saying it's going to be there, because there's a lot of games where the retailer pledge has just been like, you can buy 5 or 6, and then one of the 3 promos we give, like the baseline promo, like the people who are spending just enough to get the game through the Kickstarter, get this promo card. Well, guess what? You can get 4 boxes with that promo card. Yay.
Oh.
That's kind of my thing too. Like, I mean, we can't get number one. We're already. I mean, I get their frustration with this new Gamefound campaign, because my assumption in releasing a new Gamefound campaign was, let's face it, Asmodee, right? Asmodee, I at least from my point of view, isn't the greatest, right? Like, me and JR talked to our local place that we play all the time in, and just didn't. Oh, I thought that was dead. Didn't even know it was a thing. Like, had no clue. And like, this is the person that's probably talking to the Asmodee rep. So that means the Asmodee reps aren't pushing it, right?
Why? I don't know why everybody thinks Asmodee reps would be pushing it. Their catalog is like 10,000 games deep.
I'm not saying they got to be pushing it, but like, I
But
don't know.
you
I
gotta-
get the
you gotta-
Asmodee. I get the Asmodee little things, and I've yet to see anything from Keyforge.
But I don't know why you think like Asmodee has some great responsibility to be
I
pushing
never
Keyforge.
said that, but
that's
like,
Ghost Galaxy's
obviously,
job.
Asmodee is not checking the box that they need them to check. I mean,
how many? They're a distributor in this relationship, right? How many
Correct.
distributors are really like hard pushing particular games?
Asmodee does it weird. I mean,
I get the things from Asmodee, and the only thing I ever get from our seller's account for AC is new product. Like,
right. And have you
like
ever on any of those new
brand
flyers ever
period,
seen
like this
Keyforge?
is No, I have not.
Right.
Not in the entire time GG is purchased or whatnot. Back in the day,
Used
we
to see
did
it.
get the things from Asmodee when FFG was releasing new expansions. I've got nothing from them in our account
For what?
for anything about WoW this entire time. Like,
Right.
like even on the like not through our Archon's Corner account, but like at the store level, like my guy had to like convince the person that WoW existed in order to purchase it.
Oh,
Like,
Right.
like it was a big hassle for a platinum level store in Houston to get product in the store ordered because the rep initially didn't even know what we were freaking talking about.
And that's kind of my point. Like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, Sheep. It's not the Asmodee rep to push a certain product, but like, there are still stores that are like, oh, Keyforge is back? What? Who knew?
Yeah,
And they
because
didn't
their
know.
reps might not even know or
And
care
even upon
or
asking
whatever.
them, they're like, I don't know.
But you're putting the blame on the wrong place.
Who am I
It's
to
not-
blame?
I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying that's the experience.
This is Ghost Galaxy's game. It is their responsibility to market it, or pay Asmodee to market it, or whatever they have to do, right?
Okay.
But just there are. I mean, you really got to look at how much Asmodee's distribution agreement is. It's ridiculous and huge, and you can't expect Asmodee to do stuff for Ghost Galaxy just because they're carrying it, right? Like, it's a small drop in their really big bucket, especially when you start considering like how much of or how little we're seeing move. At least personally, like how little we're seeing move. Like, what do they care at all?
Yeah, I agree. But let's get into a little bit of it. Some of the things that we've seen thus far from it. We got the base page, and then so there's going to be 240 new cards in Grim Reminder, Haunted and Scrap Effects, which we knew about. New bonus, discard bonus icon, and then the thing that perked my interest was the rare Revenant characters. Anybody know anything about this?
Exactly what you have read. That him
Perfect.
or what? What's the Duma preview card?
Oh, is that
The
a
one that,
Revenant
like,
character?
Him to Duma.
No,
Constantly
no,
Returns or something?
Duma Resurrected or something
Duma
like
the
that?
Returned.
The Returned.
Yeah, yep.
Duma the Returned is probably what a Revenant is. Got the
Oh.
fancy border.
The little
Yeah.
ghost effect thing.
Has a play
Yeah.
from discard pile effect.
So
I don't know if that has to do with Revenants, but the whole like effect going on there, I think, is the
The idea.
So
yeah.
for all of our friends, following along in Radio Land here,
Go
according to the Gamefound campaign under Revenants, it says in some rare Keyforge Grim Reminders decks, players may come upon the Revenants, spectral clones of famous characters from the Crucible that have returned from the Beyond. So hearing that, I'm seeing ghost forms of famous characters coming back, which is super cool, honestly, from what's there. And now I'm like, okay, what famous characters
Was
from the
Ghost
Crucible
Form
am
a
I going to see?
character?
But it has
Oh,
to be
that's a
one
good
that
question.
died or something, right? If you're talking
Yeah.
about the story, you know who should be a revenant. See if
Sorry,
anyone in the
later.
cast knows who I'm talking about. Do any of you know who Flurp is?
Flurp.
Eh.
That's not
Flurp?
the Saurian leader, is it?
Flurp, FLERP.
Oh! Wait, is that the guy that gets crushed by the 5 power
Yes!
Saurian
If you
card?
read the flavor text on Stomp, it says
Stomp,
it's got
yeah.
the little goblin down there about to die. Has anyone seen Flurp?
Oh,
Flurp?
that would be great.
Flurp needs to be a revenant so bad. That would be awesome.
I actually
There he is.
have.
Oh,
I'm
look at
pretty
him.
sure I
He's
have
got
a
like a-
stomp.
Yeah,
Here
he's like a little
somewhere.
goblin dude, so
Nope,
he can
I
be
don't.
like, I mean, I guess like he could be like a Brobnar Revenant or whatever if that's in the set or whatever. But like, that would be a really, really cool Revenant. I have no idea what it would do because all we know about Flurp was he got stomped on.
Maybe he deals 5 damage.
Flurp the flattened.
Yeah, there we go.
Obviously, we know how Skystoid is coming into this. The Wrath of Forgotten Remnant Things, or join the Wrath of Forgotten Remnant Things. Harness the power of your discard pile, also known as Infernus. So, lot of talk about.
Harnesses the power of your opponent's discard pile.
But a lot of talk on this today. I know there's a lot of people upset. I mean, this was once said that there would never be another Gamefound. It was a one-time thing.
Don't think that was
I talked to
said.
Sydney. It was said. It was said on her show.
Uh,
I literally met after you said that. I'm like, I know I've heard this. And I talked to Sydney, and she's like, yes, it was said on my show that WoW was supposed to be a one-time Gamefound thing to get it back rolling, and then there wouldn't be any more Gamefounds after that.
I mean, so many companies are going to Gamefound and Kickstarter, right? Like, there's a reason. Like, it seems like it must
Direct
be
to
a good
consumer,
deal.
honestly, is
Yeah.
GG's best. I mean,
Direct to
like
consumer,
like we just
upfront
said,
cash.
Asmodee is doing GG no favors. So I mean,
I can agree with that.
It would make more sense for them to do a direct to consumer style of things where it is a Gamefound. Because and again, we have zero idea what's in that contract, so I'm gonna guess they can't just sell it on their own. Because reasons. But you know, I mean, this unfortunately, probably with the contract they're in, would make sense.
So what I mean, it makes sense to me what you're saying. I don't know the contract, so I can't speak on that. But what I can say is under Gamefound, it says why crowdfund. So coming directly from this, it's right underneath if you keep scrolling down. So it says, from a practical business case, crowdfunding has become the default method for launching new products for small to mid-sized publishers, and even some very big ones. It allows publishers to establish a connection with the most ardent players, provides a wonderful method of promotion, and provides capital to meet the substantial upfront investment required for games such as Keyforge, in which the purchase of artwork and custom programming of new card deck behaviors in the Forgefire rendering engine are foremost. Ghost Galaxy plans to crowdfund the majority of our projects in the future. So in that section, I think the end is really important. They're looking at crowdfunding going forward, regardless of what was said on another podcast, whether it was or wasn't. This is what they're looking at going forward. I think right now there is a lack of marketing and how it's being presented to game stores. And I think we really have to ask, what does GG need to do? What do we need to do? What needs to be done, or what can be done to allow our game to be successful long-term and to be able to make it, if this is what is necessary.
See, my question for this and a lot of this is this a one-time, like, I don't want to say one time, like, does this mean
It's not one. It says our
No, no, no,
projects
no.
in the
Is
future.
this,
Yeah.
you didn't let me finish. Is this? I understand this, but does this mean one set a year?
Well, that's a
What?
whole
This
nother
is-
question.
Every September when they got to pay taxes, time to run that Gamefound.
I understand the small to mid-sized publishers. I think that it tells you what your demand is. And
don't we already know, like, if they're game founding in the window that they have, it's gonna, like, we'll get the product around, well, us in America, we'll get it here around May, June.
well, so that was actually listed below, or is that on top? I was actually
English,
pretty
no.
surprised.
Are you in the English
'cause
language
it's-
only?
I read somewhere 6 to 8 months, and that was
Because
further down.
there is a section on here, English language only crowdfund campaign.
Yes, and I do think that has been voiced that putting in multiple languages was a problem. It really did slow up their ability to translate the cards and then produce or render those decks and then to be able to ship them out. I will say at this point, we did receive another article from GG today, and that did go ahead and talk about where we're at in shipment for Winds of Exchange. So yes, US, Canada, we're good. Completed or in transit. EU, Asia, Australia, rest of the world,
Well, okay, so
not great. I mean, it's en route and at local hub. Those are things that are out of GG's control. But
hold on, there's a bunch
it
of
looks
like,
bad.
what's going on? Like, I don't know if X-Ray is still in the chat because my screen's covered.
No.
But like, there's still people out there that don't have their correct WoW stuff, and we're talking about another crowdfunding
He
campaign.
got his He got his crowdfunded.
I know he got his stuff, but he was missing a bunch of stuff. So I don't.
No,
I don't know
he
if
got his missing stuff.
I can tell you that my deck and my mat were messed up, and they took care of it very efficiently. I appreciated that. I got it right away. But I do feel for people when, in EU, Asia, Australia, rest of the world, but that's not in GG's hands anymore. I do think that an all English set will make it more efficient, but you're still looking at a substantial amount of time to be able to ship from around the world. And we have a lot of international individuals right now who are just not happy.
Right. Well,
I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's going to be delayed, but are we ostracizing or keeping people out of this game? If we want to grow the game, I don't want to do that, but it's hard.
So I guess I was surprised about the timing of them doing this. I wasn't surprised that they would do this. I wasn't necessarily expecting, but not at all surprised they'd say, hey, Gamefound only takes 5%, and then credit card takes 3% or something. So 8%, but we get all that money up front. Direct to consumer means we make more than selling it through Asmodee. That's enticing, right? And so if they can get, rid of some of the challenges they had with the languages and, how none of Joker's decks had the the wrapping around it and stuff, which, wasn't that huge a deal. But get rid of some of these issues. And this is, this can be a really good model for them. But yes, we need to figure out how to fit the store piece in.
the question that I'm going to ask is, for board games and whatnot, this makes sense. But for a game that is continuing to process and evolve, is it a good business model? I don't know if this makes stores want to jump on and carry because ultimately, if you don't have product, you're not going to run it. That's kind of what we've kind of figured out here.
Yeah, it doesn't, right? That's the trade-off.
Right. So
So this is really weird to me. When I look at, you have some major board game companies that are going ahead and crowdfunding, and it really shows them demand. I see what's listed here, but I think it allows publishers to establish a connection with the most ardent players. I don't think that's the major driving factor. My opinion. Provides a wonderful method of promotion. I don't know if I agree with that. It allows some promotion, but I don't know.
Oh,
if
it's huge. Gamefound and just crowdfunding in general is a huge promotional thing. People get excited about it as long as you do a reasonable job and all that. Like, it definitely drives.
I mean, we're
people to
talking
buy
about it
stuff.
today, right now. Like, the major
Yeah,
part
this
of
is
marketing
true.
is simply awareness. Like, that's
Yeah.
goal one. And here we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, I mean, I was at my local store tonight, and we were playing Keyforge and having a good time. Somebody brought their Voltmaster deck, which was interesting.
Don't tell Joker. Or no, it's JM
got-
that's upset. Don't tell JM.
They got wrecked, didn't they?
No, they actually won. So yeah. I never played them, but
What we all
anywho.
feared to happen is happening.
Oh,
The
Voltmaster decks.
yeah, woo. It looked like Star Alliance logos. Interesting thing with like a disc house that didn't matter because he just never played it because he just played Star Alliance and logos the whole time. Anywho, but yeah, people there were talking about it, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to save up money to hit the Grim Reminders crowdfunding campaign.
Well, again, this is great because I guess for me, what I've seen is crowdfunding it really peaked, in my opinion, probably 5 years ago, and everybody was going ahead and putting up. And right now, we have the market is so saturated with the amount of games that are coming on Kickstarter, on Gamefound, and you have some independents who are going ahead and being able to raise the capital and the funds needed to be successful and really show what the demand is for a game. But you also have other large game publishers who are using that data to say, hey, this is what we're pushing out. This is the amount that we'll make. We're only going to make a little bit more than that. And I think that the later portion of how many of the game to produce really helps so that you're not overproducing and then being stuck with excess product. And we saw with Keyforge, that was an issue. I can tell you that Coda was definitely underproduced at first. They didn't know what the real demand was. AOA was overproduced. And so that yin yang kind of flex has an impact on a game, and especially a small company or a mid-range company. They don't have a ton of capital to be throwing around. If they overproduce on a set, that might be just simply the last set for the game.
Yeah, but it can also, I mean, Sheep was talking about it just not too long ago. I mean, you're in fear of a severe shortage of WoW.
Yeah.
So buy now.
I mean,
I bought a display when I went to my store tonight.
I mean, what's the fear there, Sheep? Why would you fear a shortage?
I've heard that those who have been buying from Asmodee have got some kind of responses on like, how much more do you think you want? Because they're not sure if they're going to have more. Like, as we're trying to buy more, there isn't necessarily a lot left in distribution. But it's not real clear either, because I don't know if Asmodee can actually search their own inventory.
Yeah.
I
don't trust an Asmodee employee to figure out what they got left?
I was
Like all the
talking to
DT decks they didn't know they had.
Yeah.
the store owner by my house, not the guy I work with, but the store owner by my house. I was talking to him, and he was he's like, yeah, so if you go on the retailer portal for Asmodee, you can't actually see if things are in stock. You have to go into the standard consumer portal to see if they're stocked, to then determine if you can buy stuff as a retailer. It is really, really weird.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think WoW is a phenomenal set. I can definitely tell you, having played it fairly successfully this past weekend, it is something that is completely modifying and reshaping the current meta. We love that. Mm-hmm. I think it's a lot of fun to play. And I think that honestly, having a box of it opens up a much higher probability to do well that I didn't necessarily see in my previous couple sets. So I love WoW. I'm excited. It worries me a little bit if we do have the shortage, but again, buy it now. So I just don't know how many people are going ahead and playing or buying. Like, we don't know where our numbers are, which is scary.
Right. I don't know that like a shortage for. Let's just pretend there is for a second. I don't know if there is, but let's pretend. I don't think it's exactly the same dynamic as, with sort of a standard print situation, because Strange Stars has the print house in-house and they can do additional print runs. Now, it doesn't make sense for them to say, well, I'm going to print 10 decks, right? But in theory, they could print more WoW at a much smaller rate than if they had to go to a different company. Now I'm sure there's a whole bunch of dynamics there in terms of like, hey, they're trying to, I'm sure, get business from other companies too. So how, is the print line really idle? Got to print all those Vaultmaster decks, right? So, who knows?
You're gonna get death threats. But I do think, like, I'm not saying there's a shortage, but like, let's think about this in a mathematical term, right? Like, we know when they started printing WoW for the releases that we've gotten in the time frame that we've gotten them. Like, they showed us a video back around late March, early April, that showed the printer firing up, and we're all excited. And then they panned to the area where they were like throwing him on the shelves without baggies, and we're all like, "What the hell's going on there?" But like we know that they were printing then for a May, June, July launch, right? Like, so that's like a 3-month lead time, right? To like try to release product. So their Gamefound said they are aiming for like a, again, they said this last time, I get how funny this is. January, February release of Grim Reminders. So like
July.
So in that 3-month lead, so like July, that's fine. I'm fine. I'm happy with getting Grim Reminders next year, July. That's fine. Whatever. That would work for me. Because I'm in America, right? Like, it'll get here.
America.
I feel like your Texas is showing. See, I'm just
so many people are stopping listening to this right now.
just turn this off.
Like, we are a U.S. podcast.
Yeah, only
this is where we're based.
Only like most of our listeners come from over. Well, not most, but a good chunk of them. Like,
true.
we're number 4 in the Philippines. Hey,
So
that's not good if we're number 4. But anyway.
we're number 4. We're number 4 in the hobbies.
How are we number 4 out of the one?
Who's number 1? Do you think it's help from Future Alliance? Is that
we're number 4 in the hobbies category?
Help from.
There's no.
I don't
know if you guys have looked recently on how they rank podcasts. They don't rank them by Keyforge. That's not an option. So,
that's on the drop down?
Nah, it's not in the drop. In the drop down is not Keyforge.
It's not ranked by top 8 showings. Damn.
It's definitely ranked by categories, to which we are a hobbies category.
I get it. But either way, like, lead time, right? So like, if they really wanted to ship this in January, February, that means that they would need to start printing it like 3 months before January.
Does that mean
you're
Worlds
talking
is
about
going to be Worlds is going to be a sealed Grim Reminders experience?
Oh, yeah. I bet you it is.
No,
Okay.
Worlds is going to be sealed Master Worlds. It's going to be
Master
just
the
and Grim Reminders
printed.
So now
please
there's
do not pay any attention to us.
It's
now there's
gonna be
another
tournament
set?
legal. Every pod gets Control of the Week and Befuddle. It's going to be fantastic.
All right. In all
but anyway,
seriousness,
like, so if I have to start, like, I say I'm the company, just on the numbers. If I have to start printing a new set in October, I'm no longer going to be printing WoW. So I guess, like, I'm not saying that there's like a shortage or whatnot, because I don't have any data saying that they're like out of stock in the warehouse at Asmodee. But like, come October, if we're going to see Grim Reminders in the first quarter of next year, their printer is going to have to print Grim Reminders. So it doesn't matter if the printing's on demand in-house. It will then be assigned to the new task.
all right.
What
so
if they have 2?
I mean, I don't know.
So looking at this Gamefound episode 31, it says the Gamefound campaign for Keyforge Grim Reminders will kick off on Friday, September 28th, 2023. We had not stated that, so there it is. Friday, September 28th, 2023, and will end on October 17th, 2023. We aim to start shipping pledge rewards in January of 2024. Although, as with all such things, we must stress the substantial differences in delivery timeframes may occur between our aims and actual delivery. That was very nice.
And all that lines up with what I'm saying. Like if they
So, like
in
August.
the game found, they'll get a estimate of like production that they need to print. They start printing near the end of October, and then if they're printing Grim Reminders, they're not printing well.
And I agree with that. And I do think you don't want to carry a ton of extra product. But I scrolled further down, campaign to reward delivery time frame. And this was the piece that I was looking at. And it says, as may be gleaned from the above, Keyforge Winds of Exchange allowed for much infrastructure to be built. I do think they struggled with that. You could see on the actual packaging. That caused a lot of issues. And for a smaller company, it's going to be a problem. And so continuing, and for many lessons to be learned, all of which will be a huge benefit in the execution of the Keyforge Grim Reminders campaign. So this is hope. As such, we are bullish on a much faster pledge reward turnaround than the 6 to 8 month gap that occurred between close of the Keyforge Winds of Exchange pledge manager and delivery of its pledge rewards. That, I think, is, past practice is what's hurting us right now. There are individuals, as you could see from above, when we talked about the rest of the world, they're not getting it. They haven't gotten it. It's delayed, and it may not be GG's faults. They have now gone ahead and worked with Games Quest to be able to ship overseas. But nonetheless, it hurts. I mean, honestly, when we were looking at this campaign, that area when I thought we were going to get it in January to what was May, it really sucked the life out of me. I can only imagine for my European Keyforge friends or Asian Keyforge friends, or frankly, anywhere else around the world. I don't know about you guys, but it's the end of August. And still to be waiting another 1 to 2 weeks, September, you're in a solid 8 months that you've waited after thinking that you were going to have a brand new set. I do think they can make it more efficient. I think their infrastructure is there. I like that. But I'm really curious how many people we've already lost. And that's what was coming out on Facebook, on Discord, on like literally any social media, anything talking Keyforge. It was like, I'm done. I'm out. I can't do another one. And if that's our player base who's excited about the game, how are we going to get game stores where they're putting up their own capital to, try and bring in a product and hopefully have gamers be able to get it?
But that is also I understand that they're not here. They're not playing it, so they are left out. But like a lot of that is going to the people that don't have like the WoW yet. Like, I mean, a lot of the player base
they don't have the WoW like it's a disease. They don't have the WoW.
Like, are having exciting experiences. Like, I don't know. Like, all of the people that are happy about it aren't going to be as vocal about being happy about it because of all the people that are not happy about it being so loud right now. So,
but picture right now. I mean, I did very, very well with WoW. Gen Con WoW showed up as well. Philly WoW showed up.
Yeah,
people were able
WoW
to make
was second in Gen Con, top 8 at Philly, the first one, and second again at Mini.
And I think that is exciting, and that's what's needed for the game, but also hurts anyone who's still waiting. Like, really? I'm still waiting over here, guys. I don't have any to even play.
I'm more interested in what the Awakening edition means. What makes my Awakening edition Archon deck different from my regular Archon deck?
What?
We'd love you to follow the Keyforge Grim Reminders campaign to stay up to date with the news. If you follow this campaign prior to launch, by clicking the green follow button above, you will receive a free Grim Reminders Awakening edition when you purchase a pledge rewards level during the campaign.
I bet you this is like the savior decks, right? So it's not gold bordered, it's silver or
Green. Oh, it's got to be green, right?
Whatever
What-
color Awakening is. What I don't know.
I don't
What
know.
color do you see when you
It's
wake
looking blue, and I'm
Sunrise?
terrified. I am terrified of any Keyforge deck that comes in a blue package. I just hope this set don't suck. Because traditionally, Keyforge decks that come in blue are no bueno.
Meh.
Well, we had a set called Dark Tidings.
Yeah, how
and
well
it
did that
had,
go?
like, kind of an allusion to what was to be next. Like,
It was-
surely Grim Reminders.
What color was the Dark Tidings package?
Dark blue.
Blue.
Yeah.
And what was the other great set we all like to talk about that came in
AOA.
a blue package?
Solid blue.
Mm,
Mm.
mm.
This
mean,
means nothing. Audience, by the way,
I
just
mean,
so you
yeah, it might mean nothing, but traditionally Keyforge decks that come in blue don't do so hot. Just saying.
know. What is woe? That's what color it needs to stay. Whatever color
I don't know what color woe is. It's like a
Is it
weird
like
green.
gray?
It's green.
Yeah, it's like a weird green. It's like a olive green. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'd say olive green.
Okay.
So what would be your ideal treatment for the Awakening edition? I mean,
Foil.
just complete hypothesis. Well, you
Foil.
want foil. Okay, there you go. Wookie. What else we got?
Add tokens to the deck.
I'm talking about the treatment like the I Save Keyforge deck, you goof. All right,
Yeah,
you're,
no,
you're out of here.
I mean, I liked the Savior decks. I thought they were
loved it.
cool. Now part of it was the gold just looked so awesome. Like I don't know if
If other
something's
colors
a little
would do
more,
that, yep.
yeah, if it's a little more mediocre. I mean, sure you could do cool stuff. Now, it's actually an interesting question because I've said before I just got the one Savior deck with, and I was like, shoot, I should have gotten more. Like these are really cool. When the rubber hits the road, how many of these will I actually purchase? I think they were more expensive, right? So like,
Well, these I
How
don't
many
know
of
if
them
you're
is-
allowed. We don't know if you're allowed
then-
to purchase them yet. Like we only know you're allowed to get one
true.
when you follow.
well, let's
Um,
assume that they give you that option just like they did with the previous campaign. Like I'll probably
Well,
get a few
okay,
extra.
so
I don't know how
again
many
with
extra. though.
again with the campaign thing, they did simplify. There is a section in here. They simplified their stretch goals. So due to a
Yeah.
combination of Keyforge Winds of Exchange being Ghost Galaxy's first campaign and some surprises related to the Gamefound backend frictions, our stretch goals process for the campaigns were far from ideal. The planned stretch goals for Grim Reminders will be simplified, and delivery of its free stretch goals will not require additional action from the backers.
Yeah,
So-
I think the extra
So-
action did require
That
it caused some
definite-
issues.
I
so.
think definitely like simplification might not be a bad idea. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of like moving pieces. So simplifying, like maybe that, I mean, that's fine. But like, hey, I can purchase more. Like, I am
yeah, I mean, they're
hoping.
gonna let you spend more money, but
Well, right.
you know what it is? It's gonna be the stuff like it probably means no name decks, right? Unfortunately,
no, that was the one thing I
Yeah.
wanted to come back.
I
was
know,
the
me
name
too.
deck.
I would get so many more. But that's kind of what they're hinting. Certainly the languages, we know that.
We need an X-ray sucks to take top 8.
Yeah, we
Just
do. We
one.
do need Grim Reminders X-Ray Sucks. Absolutely.
People didn't buy enough of them. There wasn't enough X-ray sucks decks out there.
This is true.
Yeah.
There's only 4 or 5 in existence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We gotta up that number. We gotta get to double digits.
X-ray really sucks.
Yeah. Grimly sucks.
X-ray sucks 24.
He wasn't even. Can that be a whole set of itself? Let's make that happen, GG. A whole X-ray sucks set.
I'm actually gonna have all mine just be master.
That
X-Ray
could be
Sucks
the
and
answer
stuff.
for
Yeah,
the Awakening deck. Every single one of them.
Everyone's an X-ray sucks deck.
Or has that in there.
Yeah.
Perfect. The amount of funny that would be is off the charts.
I will tell you that
They
for
could have
me,
whole extra side events for X-ray
Who's this X-ray character?
I really did enjoy the personally named decks. I do see it most likely not coming back.
Even though
I
yours are
also-
spelled wrong.
Well, but 2 of the 3 were right, and they made it right with the third one when it was redone. I really enjoyed that aspect, and those decks, even though they're not great, have significant value to me. So I think that was a real big win. I'm
I'm on the other end there. I just have they didn't hit it. Like my X-Ray Sucks decks is the only one I actually like, because it says X-Ray Sucks. But like even one of my decks I got is currently a 90 plus Prospector deck that's pretty good, but it's still just whatever.
No, I actually sleeved all of my named decks, and you guys know how rarely I sleeve decks. And I have them. I like them.
I will say I also really enjoyed the I Save Keyforge. I had multiple decks there. I almost picture more of a Ghostbusters green, kind of the outside greenish tint, because I think that it would go really well with Grim Reminders and kind of.
You don't think it's going to be Purple Smoke? Purple Smoke.
Actually, Purple Smoke would be pretty cool too. But both of those are exciting to me
because it's just another Gamefound where we pay a bunch of money so we can sit here and wait for decks that we then don't get to go play at stores with again. So it's bad.
It's not bad.
I agree with that.
It's bad.
They're making a new set. We're going to get to experience part of that with stretch goals. We'll get product. We'll get the play.
So there is a difference in opinion possibly there on what is success, because as we talked before, like 500,000 was their goal. They hit $1 million.
50,000 was their goal.
It's not 50,000.
Pretty sure their first goal was 50,000.
It was 50,000 or we don't print anything.
Right.
No,
well, I don't know if they said
their
that,
realistic hope was like 500,000 is what we heard, and they got $1 million. So successful to some of us means like in-store play, new players being interested in the game. I don't know if that's the success level they're looking for. If this game could pull down $1 million Gamefound, $1 million-ish Gamefound, plus the extra sales around that every year, that might be enough for Keyforge to pay its bills that it has to pay, while they then build towards something else. So there may be a very different scope that people have, because I don't, if it's just gonna be that, I don't know if that makes me happy. I know that doesn't make me happy.
See, that's interesting that you said $1 million, because I don't think that we're going to hit half of it. I think if they hit $500,000 here on Grim Reminders, just with how it has impacted the community, especially internationally, I would be shocked. I'm going to say that right now.
If 80% are delivered, then the outside community is only 20%, and it's not as critical as we had maybe thought.
Even if it's 20%, that means we don't hit $1 million, though.
Yeah, but they just
they're like, I mean, we don't know what the rewards are and all that, but I guess there is an interesting question of, for those of us who spent quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't think people are going to be going in as much.
Oh,
we'll
I
see.
am. For sure.
We'll see.
Let's go.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna
I
spend,
think
but like
none.
They need to, they got me with the name decks.
And I think the name decks was a huge draw, like a huge draw.
Oh, totally.
For people to spend, like being able to get decks that either have your name or something of, whatever you want on it. I think that was a big draw for people, and and if we don't see that, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I understand
we don't know that they won't be there.
We don't know.
I think
we don't.
They're going to come back to English for sure, because that does help with the shipping a lot. I would
if you
hope
look
we
in their
would
comments section, you constantly see this. I haven't even received my woe, and I mean, obviously these are overseas people, but like I haven't gotten my woe, and now you want me to fork out more money for another one.
Yeah, but that's just like, again, what I said is,
but again,
I have
another one highlighted here, and I actually caught, because I thought this was it kind of summarized a lot of it. So this, I didn't grab the name. I thought I did, but I didn't. But personally, I'm very excited for this. But if may offer some opinion, I think this person thinks we're doing it too soon. Woe is an awesome set, but from my personal experience, haven't had much time in Sun for people to enjoy what they got. I have 5 friends who spent over $200 and still haven't played any of their decks, mainly because LGSs don't want to buy Keyforge. I personally found one game store out of a 50-mile radius who's willing to risk getting it. All other stores in my area will not. They said they used to carry it. They don't want to anymore. And I live in a large city. There are no local organized events, nowhere to purchase it. I really think you should help market your product first before you start a new set. I lost my set. Before you start a new set, because that will affect sales. I can tell you that out of my 5 buddies who spent 200 plus, only 1 or 2 of them will support this next product. Not counting me, of course. Just a thought. Take it or leave it. Either way, I wish you the best of luck. Because this was one of the ones that I found to like not be just like, "Brr." But again, I mean, we point out there are no local organized events. There's nowhere to purchase it. I can't. I spent money to not be able to use the things that I spent money on.
So I can't really go ahead, Dres.
No, you.
So I can't go ahead and really argue against that. I do think that we desperately need community involvement in stores. What I will say is I have seen tremendous growth already because of Josh. Jeremy was just straight up overworked, both doing marketing and OP, and you can't do that. I think Josh, his presence at Minnesota was really, really like he was brand new at Philly, and we saw him, but
still
like,
had that new OP smell.
He did have that new OP smell, but I'm going to tell you, that what I saw at Minnesota was him feeling. I don't know. He just seemed more in control, more aware of what he needed to be doing, and he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, like a month under his belt. He's got this.
But maybe it's just my belief there. I think that we build to 2024, and I have more confidence in separate employees being able to work on marketing, being able to work on OP. And I do think that Josh can take us in the right direction to be able to continue to grow this game on our organized play system. That we do need something. They're working on it, but I have to say he's doing a great job so far. So I want to continue to encourage that we're going to get good things going forward. But this all takes time too. It's not that we can just turn over from one event to another.
I'm looking for my shill button. I don't have one here.
Yep, scope too small.
Well, I mean, I haven't had the opportunity to talk to him besides for our canoodlings on Discord. I like him because he's a wrestling fan. Go Josh. He's quickly climbing the rankings.
I used to like him.
You used to like him?
Wrestling.
We're gonna call you Sheep Junior.
Yep. Sorry, Josh. I used to like you too, but wrestling fan, I'm out now.
Yeah.
I don't understand everybody's so anger against wrestling. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no comment. What are we talking about, guys? Like,
So I wanted to transition here. Do you guys have anything more about the Gamefound campaign that you want to state? Otherwise, I do want to get back to 2LO and the change. I mean, picture this was a large vault tour that was okay. So fine, I don't need to use the word large, but
the building was big.
It was an organized play setup that is larger in size versus just 4 or 5 of us getting together. Okay. We have this event, but 2LO was a huge growth from what we had seen. So my question is there anything else you guys need from Gamefound?
Can't wait to get my Gamefound.
The return of Sealed? Oh.
I have a tangential question related to the Gamefound and Grim Reminders.
Yeah.
Do you think they pluralized the set name so that everybody who keeps pluralizing every set's name is actually correct now?
What?
Winds of exchanges?
Everybody can say mass mutations.
Mutations.
Who says mass mutations?
Yeah, dark tidings. Like, you know.
Wait, it's not called Dark Tidings?
I'm pretty sure it is called Dark Tidings.
It might be. But mass mutations.
I have never heard anybody
Call
call it mass
Archon.
mutations.
I
I've
have.
always heard mass mutation.
We probably said it that way on the show.
Z said it a
probably
million times. I remember I corrected you at one point, Z, and you were literally like, "What are you talking about?" It was like, that is not the set's name. You looked it up, and you're like, "Holy shit!"
Thank you for your donation,
all true.
Drascore.
All true.
This was not a donation heavy
It
at
was
night.
a quote.
It
It was a
gonna
quote.
be.
It was newsworthy, Ewok. So
Yeah, it was a quote. Therefore, he's got to use it in the right context. That's how these things go.
2LO was fantastic to answer. It was
Except
much better.
The three
For
players who played
not the three
one
players.
LO.
No, but that's 3 versus 62
85
people who
all-
were sad or everybody who was sad. in the previous
Sad,
version.
depressed, a lot of waiting time. I thought that everyone was playing Keyforge. Frankly, we got to go to dinner. I mean, we got to be able to hang out. And
yeah, you
what
guys were
was-
done like what? I mean, day one was done at like I don't even know what I was
it was
kind of
4 or
popping-
something.
Yeah,
4
I was
something.
like popping back and forth, and I was like, "Oh, they're done already." Like, I know this wasn't like the largest turnout that ever was, but I was still shocked. I was like,
I
"What
think
time
a
is it?"
healthy size turnout still would have finished at 5:00. Actually,
Yeah, they'll have at least one more round in a bigger
You're
tournament,
probably right. I mean, but
which is
still,
much
like,
better than 10 p.m. Right, they are.
Right, yeah.
Well, correct. And actually,
11.
one of the top 8 people that I talked to did end up losing round 1, but ended up being able to make it back in. Actually, no. Who was it? There was someone that lost to Devin in round 1, ended up making top 8, just based on their strength of schedule and their deck. So it was nice to see top performing decks being able to consistently play, everyone play, and we were able to go ahead and go through the games in a timely manner. I know it was discussed earlier that there were 3 individuals with a 1 loss and out. I'm just going to put the recommendation that for those couple individuals that are impacted, have one final play-in game. That's
one
all.
less game.
No, I mean it's not even lose one less game.
Oh gosh! And people say I'm a jerk.
I think
It's the
at
constant thing to say. Yes,
okay.
Podcast
So,
is basically like live in America and never lose.
right.
That's how to do it, guys.
no idea why the rest of the world hates us, guys. Absolutely no idea here.
Nope.
So my recommendation is not that complex. We had essentially 9 individuals who are left for Archon. In that case, have the final 2 slots, 8 and 9, have a playoff game. The winner gets to take that 8th slot. Nice, easy enough.
That sounds real familiar.
I mean, I'm sure we've said it, we've heard it somewhere, but I think it takes away the 3 feel bads that are there. And there was some feel bad moments, but overall, people are not waiting. People were not in this delayed slump. I just played Keyforge and we had fun.
It did sound like the Alliance side where there were 2 people that were X1
Yes.
out. We're a little bit more understanding. The one person that was X1 out in the Archon side was kind of confused by it to the why of it. His opponents actually had a pretty decent strength of schedule. He talked with the staff, and the staff. I got to give the staff a lot of credit there. They were, they could have just said, "That's that. Go away. Get away from me." Right? Like that is definitely how I feel like FFG would have handled that conversation.
Probably.
Knowing they're all nice people too, but I don't think any of them would have broken down and actually showed detailed of the why the strengths of the schedule process. But they did. Luke sat down with the person that went X1 out and worked through all of the strength of schedule scenarios, worked through that, kind of talked it through with them. In the end, he wasn't happy about it, but I am glad that the staff did sit down and just have the conversation because they didn't have to do that.
I mean, it is
several
called,
places would not have done that.
It is called 2LO, and if you didn't lose 2, I can imagine going, huh?
Well, especially I mean, Wookie, you announced what the cost is for us to be able to travel from flight to food to hotel stay. So again, for the final spot, I think that having one extra round for the play-in, just to have an Archon that would have been 8 to 9 playing for Alliance, because we only had 18 individuals and there were 2 with 1 LO, it would have been slots 6, 7, 8, and 9. No, 7, 8, 9, and 10 who would have played, and you would have taken the last 2 slots.
So what I think, especially in a very small player
It's hard.
field, that was Alliance, but we were still a small player field at 45 players or whatever it was in Archon.
Yes.
48.
So we had time. I think all of us would probably agree we had time on the main date to play one more round, most likely.
Yes.
That's fine. But if there are 88 players or 105 players, and
Still
then you
would have had time.
But you
So
do
you-
want to make your cutoff time hit a point, right? Like, yes, because we used to play
with how
until
things
11.
went down. I think the worst case scenario with everything that JR is saying, even with the more people, you would finish by 6 p.m. is what the numbers would be.
Yeah. And I will say in our AC live show, there was a statement in Gigi's defense. The 2 LO article does mention that Gigi staff was going to do a cut on strength of schedule. I did agree with
talked
that.
about
That
it.
it was established ahead of time, so I didn't have an issue. I knew about it, but I'm saying like the 2
You were
LO
also
was
5-0, weren't you?
well, technically I was 4-0, and then I get the bye for round
Right.
5. But I mean, I understood that article. I understood what was happening, but it's also easy enough to add in the one final round for both of those, and you're having 3 games to determine. It just takes a little bit of feel bad. So I like that method, but even in this state, I think 2 LO is exponentially better
Yes.
than what we were previously going under.
Definitely. Yeah, it
Agree to that.
seemed like I was following stuff on the Discords and people seemed pretty excited about the situation. So
I mean, it just I was popping it on the stream where I could. Seemed like it went over fairly well. I understand there was. I mean, I think people understood there's going to be a top cut. I think a play-in. Just add the play-in round, right? What you get out of 6 instead of 4, 5 instead of 4.
No, like we would have finished by 4:45, basically 5, instead of 4, and in a larger, more normalized field that we expect to see in the future, you would finish by 6.
All right, so 6 still ain't that bad, right?
No,
I don't
6
think
ain't
so.
that bad.
I
6
mean,
is
that's how
pretty
we used to all finish, roughly about 5 to 6 in the old format under FFG, pretty regularly. It was standard
before the dark times
before the
or the
COVID.
hiatus.
That was in 35-minute rounds too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean,
Alrighty.
everything was run kind of slow.
I think that kind of wraps it up from here. We did not. I know some people want. I know we did talk. We're not going to obviously be able to rank the GG in plays this week. We will come. We will come back to that. Just know Janet's
I think
number
this,
1.
I think this last weekend, Josh might have moved up a rank. I don't know if it's over one of the fake employees, but he might have moved up.
Well, I
at some-
definitely didn't jump Janet. So
no.
Janet's
No
number
jumping
1.
Janet.
everybody's
That's called
playing for second
That's
here.
called harassment.
Yeah, you get your ass fired.
But we'll do that on another one. Obviously, we're not going to be doing any predictions for Seattle because it's so close.
Too quick.
Too quick of a turnaround. And then, they're like, hey, we don't want to talk about Seattle. Let's drop some news. So that's the thing that happened. But we will.
Well, actually, I do have a question.
Mhm.
So they just very recently announced 2 LO, right? And we had hypothesized that it was too soon to see a bump in folks saying, "Oh yeah, I'll actually come," just because it was so close to the event. Seattle's obviously only a week after. How long do we think before people are like, who are, like, hey, I'm not going to come until double limb is out. How long till you think they're like, oh yeah, this was enough lead time, I'm there?
Dallas.
Yeah, September.
Dallas.
Those
Okay.
flights. Yep.
I think because
I
flights were
don't-
so expensive to Seattle.
Yeah, I don't know, Draz, but I will tell
I
you
didn't
there
think
were.
Seattle was that expensive. It's like
What was
$300. Just over 3 or right around 3.
Where did
Seattle
Are
is
you-
the time zone in
for me.
travel. Like it's.
Are you
hell on
riding
most
on a ship that
people's
wings
schedule.
flap, or
I mean,
Yes.
aren't predictions easy? Nova's going, so we
So
picked
Nova
Nova.
wins. Good
So Nova
job.
wins. Is
Welcome to
Jason
the
going?
3000 Club.
I'm going to go ahead and put our good friend from AC, Joker. I saw some
Joker going?
spice. I saw some spice.
Do you know he's playing Archon or Alliance?
I think
I-
he's
it
playing
doesn't.
Alliance.
It doesn't matter. He stayed in my Gen Con block. That's my vote. I vote for my buddy Joker.
But you don't know what.
Doesn't matter.
All right, Joel,
All right.
it's on you. Pressure.
I'm going Jason and Nova. Is Jason going?
No,
No. Yes or no?
no.
No, Jason. Okay.
I'm going Zach and Nova.
Going
is-
Zach and Nova.
Is Aviator going?
Yes.
To be
Yes.
different, I'll go Aviator Nova.
Aviator's a good pick. Reigning champion for attending.
So, with that being said, we'll get all the fun stuff out next week. We'll get some fun. Yeah, no predictions for the prediction god. Sorry.
Well, Wookie, I do have one more piece.
Oh.
Oh yeah. All right.
Two.
Okay, we got two. Yes, because we have an event that's coming up. and we
Oh
need to-
yeah. What is it
Say
called?
it.
But
What's it called, JR?
What is it called?
I don't know, but I'm going to take my segment so you guys can just sit over in the corner. And,
I believe it's the anti-synergy sealed. I don't. There's an acronym for that.
That is not the
Sorry. What is it? Anti-survival sealed alliance. Yeah. What's the acronym
Also
for that?
known as.
Ass.
an event.
Ass Alliance.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go ahead and take a moment and actually talk to our AC family. I wanted to say thank you for all the well wishes this past weekend. I honestly kind of checked out from Discord and everything that was happening from social media. I was trying to remain a little bit focused, but to come back and to see all of the comments, the DMs, messages, it was absolutely amazing. And I am very blessed to be a part of this family. All of the different opponents that I played throughout the weekend, from Corey Hader to JKO7, man, I hope that you are enjoying your trip. Sheep, you took me out when we were in the hotel room the night before. I just got luckier when we were on stream. To Ryan, CH, aka Jada, there were some absolutely amazing decks, from that double Martian Generosity and Key Abduction to, honestly, all the decks that I played. I enjoyed our chance to be able to go out and have meals together, to be able to just talk Keyforge, to just come around and talk about this game that we love. That is why the Vault Tour was really special. I could not have asked for more in the outcome. I made Worlds, and I honestly didn't have a lot of confidence in that. And to see the story of June, while I wanted the win, it's absolutely amazing. You may not know, but there was a situation that happened at Philly where she ended up going ahead and oversleeping. And so she was DQ'd because she showed up 5 minutes late. And so part of our conversation that we had was about redemption for her. And I just tried to explain that she's a phenomenal player, very calculating, did a absolutely amazing job, and she played that deck really, really, really well. So I'm very honored to take that second spot. I am looking forward to Worlds and to be able to be at Dallas and in the upcoming Vault Tour that's there. But I'm just really proud to be a part of this Keyforge family. And so this was a very special weekend that will stay with me for a long time. So from all the friends that were along on the journey, thank you for being there. Thanks, Sheep, for driving and for going ahead and and being my partner along the way, Lokakar for the trip. It was really
Sheep
special.
drove?
Guys. Sheep did drive. The sheep
Did he hit a
mobile
cat?
did a great job.
Did he hit a cat?
Honestly, I think that was the difference, is that Sheep drove, and so I didn't have to invest that energy in driving, and I could just focus. Now, things came together, and I will tell you that my belief, God was good. There was a light that was put. Things were put forward for me, and I played some good, clean Keyforge for the most part. So it was fun.
Anybody else? Anything else?
Ask Alliance, September
Join it.
9th. If we get the right date, that helps. Pre-release kits, $40 entry fee, lots of prizes.
Lots
more
of
prizes
ass.
than events listed.
Lots of
Yes,
ass.
Wookie will be there, so there'll be
I'll
lots
be
of
there.
ass.
Yep, I'll be shaking it. First 10 people get pictures of my butt.
We're selling it. Oh man.
I can fit it all in frame. Don't worry. All right, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. We'll see y'all next week.
Happy forging, everybody.
May the forge be with you.